Follow the trend, tend to benefit while avoiding harm. Hello everyone, this is Mr. D. Today, I want to share with you the other situation of the three transmissions. The Special 8. Before introducing the Special 8, you need to know this basic knowledge. In Liu Ren, the way we convert the heavenly stem into the terrestrial branch is by looking at the place where the heavenly stem resides, which is the palace of heavenly stem. Among other Chinese divination methods, there is another way that converts the heavenly stem into the terrestrial branch, and this way gives a different result. For example, in Liu Ren, Yi should be converted into Chen, which is R should be converted into E. But in other way, Yi should be converted into Mao, which is R should be converted into D. Because the main purpose of this series of videos is to introduce the prediction method of Liu Ren, I will not go too far in introducing the knowledge of other prediction methods. In the Chinese lunar calendar, the date is named after the sexagenary cycle. 8 of these names are special, because the terrestrial branches in these names are the terrestrial branches after the conversions of the heavenly stems. They are YA day, QC day, RD day, TF day, VH day, WI day, XJ day, ZL day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is why it is called the Special 8 days. But in Liu Ren, according to the rules of Liu Ren's, the palace of heavenly stem, only 5 of dates names are special. They are QC day, TH day, VH day, WI day, ZB day. In this table, we can see that Q's palace is C, T's palace is H, V's palace is H, W's palace is I, and Z's palace is B. Although there are only 5 days in the name of the special date in Liu Ren, we still called these 5 days our special 8 days because of traditional habit. If the terrestrial branch of this name is the terrestrial branch after the conversion of its heavenly stem, then the first lesson and the third lesson must be the same. The second lesson and the fourth lesson must be the same. If there is a restriction relationship in one of the 4 lessons, then we use the thief and obedience to determine the 3 transmissions. If the above symbols have a restriction relationship with the symbol below the first lesson, we cannot use the remote restriction to determine the 3 transmissions. Then, how do we determine the 3 transmissions? According to the different yin or yang attribute of the heavenly stem of the date, the Special 8 has 2 situations. I will use 2 examples to show these 2 situations. This is the time when the question was raised. This is the question we want to ask. This is the heaven plate and the earth plate. These are the 4 lessons. In this course, the first lesson and the third lesson are the same. The second lesson and the fourth lesson are the same. None of the 4 lessons has a restriction relationship. There is a restriction relationship between I and Q, but we cannot use the remote restriction to determine the 3 transmissions when the first lesson and the third lesson is the same. The second lesson and the fourth lesson is the same. We need to observe what the yin or yang attribute of the heavenly stem of the date is. It is Jia, which is Q. According to this table, we can know that the yin or yang attribute of Q is yang. Because the yin or yang attribute of the heavenly stem of the date is yang, we need to find out where is the upper symbol of the first lesson in the heaven plate. It is L in here. Then we move forward 3 positions clockwise including L. 1, 2, 3. We take the third terrestrial branch, which is B, as the first transmission, and the upper symbol of the first lesson, which is L, as the second and third transmission. This is the time when the question was raised. This is the question we want to ask. This is the heaven plate and the earth plate. These are the 4 lessons. In this course, the first lesson and the third lesson are the same. The second lesson and the fourth lesson are the same. None of the 4 lessons has a restriction relationship. There is a restriction relationship, but we cannot use the remote restriction to determine the 3 transmissions when the first lesson and the third lesson is the same. The second lesson and the fourth lesson is the same. We need to observe what the yin or yang attribute of the heavenly stem of the date is. It is Ding, which is T. According to this table, we can know that the yin or yang attribute of T is Yin. Because the yin or yang attribute of heavenly stem of the date is Yin, we need to find out where is the upper symbol of the 4th lesson in the heaven plate. It is D in here. Then we move backward 3 positions counterclockwise including D. 1, 2, 3. We take the third terrestrial branch as the first transmission, which is B, and the upper symbol of the first lesson, which is F, as the second and third transmission. When you get 4 lessons and 3 transmissions like this, it indicative of things 3 situations. Make concerted efforts. Someone can't distinguish between a betrayer and a friend. This thing needs everyone's cooperation and effort to accomplish. Mobilize and unite all partners and forces that you can. Betray. You betray others or others betray you. Take an unusual path. Things can't be done the normal way. They need to be done in a way that no one else can think of. Your promotion opportunities within the organization are likely to be taken over by others in the end. There is no hierarchy among people, a lewd and a libertine person or thing. People of lots of identities and social status gather together. Illegal love affair, lewd, promiscuity. Subscribe. Be your own prophet.